I'm not into the they and them.
Yeah.
And all that extra that we added during the pandemic. How are you a they? What the does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
I can help. I can help you understand. I got you. To say that there's just a boy and a girl and everything else was made up in the last 3 years is just not right. It's just not. When people say that they just can't understand being non-binary, they just can't understand being a they, them, what they're really saying is, I don't care. I do not care to put in the time to respect your identity. And so therefore, to me, it's not real. Hi everyone, it is Samantha Lux. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great February. I hope you had a really fun Valentine's Day. I know I didn't, so I'm just kidding. It was great. This past week, Jeffree Star, who, if you don't know, is this person, went very, very viral on Twitter for some transphobic things that they were saying. And now when you look at this person, you're like, transphobic, really? Interesting, right? For the longest time, I feel like Jeffree was this gender fluid, like icon almost. I remember way back when they first started YouTube, or maybe not when they first started, but when they started getting into the beauty community over on YouTube, they would always talk about how everybody didn't know what gender they were and they just used whatever pronouns and they didn't even care. They were just Jeffree. And I remember resonating with it so much because that's kind of like what trans people just want to be. You know, they just want to be themselves. They just want to live and do what makes them happy, do what makes them comfortable. And so when I heard this transphobic, honestly, like this transphobic rant coming from Jeffree, I was shocked and disappointed and also annoyed. In today's video, I've gotten a lot of requests to make a video on this little segment of this podcast that Jeffree Star was in. I gave it a quick listen and I definitely understand why people wanted me to react to this. It's
Lord have mercy.
I mean, it sucks because I personally used to really, really like Jeffree. I mean, this was before the whole controversies and everything like that started happening on YouTube with Jeffree and those other people, but I used to really like them and I thought that they were a cool person to have in our community. But apparently, Jeffree is not about our community. Jeffree said, I gotta go. I don't wanna be here anymore. For today's video, we're gonna be watching this little clip of Jeffree over on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. And I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts as a transgender woman. I post new videos every week here on my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Go ahead, go ahead. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those different places to keep us up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get into this podcast. Oh my God. Okay, I know I suddenly look a little bit different, but I'm really hungry. So I think we're gonna go down to the kitchen and make some food really, really quick. Okay, let's go. And thankfully today we are eating very, very well because today's video is sponsored by HelloFresh. If you follow me over on Instagram, you know I've been on this fitness journey as of recently. Part of that is eating better. If I'm being honest, I do sometimes struggle with eating, so HelloFresh has really, really helped me make sure that I'm hitting my nutrition goals and needs. And no matter what your goals and your needs are, HelloFresh has an option for you. They have calorie smart options, carb smart options, veggie and family friendly options. And if I, the world's pickiest eater, can find something that I like, I'm sure you can too. And you can even customize the dishes so you can swap around sides and proteins, and you can even upgrade to organic beef and organic chicken, which is great. In fact, all of their ingredients are great quality. Ingredients actually travel from a farm to your house in 7 days, so you know that you're getting the most fresh ingredients possible. I feel like I'm bashing myself a little bit, but I am a horrible cook, like just so bad. But they really make it so easy for you. Everything is prepackaged in the bag perfectly for you. The instructions are so clear. It's basically impossible to mess it up. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised each time I cook one of these meals and they come out really good. I'm like, wow, I did it. Look at me go. Yeah, if you're like me and you have these new fitness and nutrition goals for the new year, or even you just want to try out some new meals that are really fun and easy to make, head over to HelloFresh.com and use my code SamanthaLux65 for 65% off plus free shipping. Yeah, you're welcome. Again, that's HelloFresh.com. Use my code SamanthaLux65 and you'll get 65% off and free shipping. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get back into it. So like I said, this clip came from an interview that Jeffree did on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. I believe it's a segment of the Barstool Sports, you know, company, whatever you would say. Personally, I've never seen this podcast, so I don't want to say too much about the hosts or anything like that. But from what I know about Barstool Sports, traditionally, they are not the most inclusive of trans people. I'll just say that. They're a very bro-y. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like if I were to picture the audience of this podcast, it would just be a bunch of bros. I could be totally wrong. I'm making that up, but that's the impression that I get. So if I'm wrong, let me know. So the segment that we're gonna watch today is about 4 or 5 minutes long. This is like a 2-hour podcast. We're not gonna listen to all of it, obviously. So this segment of the conversation started with the interviewer asking Jeffree, how can you tell who's gay and who's not? It was kind of a weird conversation. We're not gonna talk about that, but the conversation quickly transitions, wink, wink, into this conversation.
But when do you think from a child's standpoint, when you're talking to somebody, they're a young 8-year-old boy. Like we don't know. We have no idea what we want, what we don't want. I have no idea. People who are gay, if they say they were born that way or they came into it.
Maybe attracted to someone and they don't know what it means.
Right. When do you think it's like an appropriate time to let that child, I guess, ask those type of questions and understand those types of things?
Okay, pause. I'd firstly want to say that I want to be nice. I know that sometimes I come up a little bit harsh on the transphobes, the conservatives, whatever. I don't want to do that. But I feel like for the most part, this interviewer was very respectful, very nice, so I have no reason to be mean. It's cool. I have no issue with people not understanding and actually asking questions. I live for that. I love it. But watch your mouth, because I'll be mean if I have to. I think there's a better question to ask when people are questioning whether people are born gay or if they just kind of sign up for it when they realize that is so bomb. Because I don't think that they're really asking if this person was born that way or if, you know, some sort of external factor made them want to be gay. I think the real question is being gay a choice? I mean, I do believe that people were born gay, just for the record, but I feel like that doesn't really matter to these people. All that really matters is that you didn't choose to be gay. Because why would you choose this life? Like, ew. Just to make it clear, no, people do not get to choose their sexuality. People don't get to choose their gender identity. It's just who you are. And when people come out and say, I'm gay or I'm trans, it's not them making a choice to be that. It's them making the choice to be open about it and to say it to the world and to act on who they really are. If you're gay, you're gay. If you're bi, you're bi. If you're trans, you're trans. And no amount of convergent therapy can save you. The next part of the question is when these conversations should be started or when they should be happening and whether or not they are appropriate conversations to be having with children. I think that 8 years old is very young. It's very, very young. I think that most children probably aren't having any sexual interests or even romantic interests at this age, so they likely aren't going to be asking questions. So I think for the most part, you're probably good. No need to bring it up if they're not asking. However, there are kids that maybe develop faster and do have these interests, or maybe they learned about them from their friends, or maybe they learned about them online or something like that, and they do end up having a question. They're likely old enough to know about the existence of gay and trans people. Of course, in an age-appropriate way. We don't need to be getting into details here. Please don't get into details. But this whole connotation that talking about trans people or talking about gay people should be this taboo thing is deeply problematic. Like, imagine your kid is gay in the closet, you know, knows they're gay but hasn't told you that they're gay, and you're telling them that they need to have this hush-hush attitude around gay people and around trans people, while at the same time watching their infant brother or sister be paired up with another infant to take boyfriend-girlfriend pictures. It makes those kids feel ashamed for being who they are. It makes those kids feel ashamed for the interests or the desires that they may have. And now if you're down with shaming your kids for who they are, that's your prerogative, but personally, I mean, I'm just not about it. So no, I don't think that we need to bring up, you could be gay, you could be trans to your 8-year-old kid, but if they ask questions like, why does my friend have 2 dads? It's perfectly okay to say, you know, there are gay people in the world.
They can ask them, but I think when a parent tries to direct them to a certain way too young, not it. Not it. No. If your daughter looks like a tomboy, it doesn't mean she wants to be a boy. It means she wants to explore her creativity, and you should let her be her.
Yeah, that's like a hard thing. Like the transgender thing is like, I just don't understand it.
I can help. I can help you understand. I got you. I feel like a lot of, and like, I'll be blunt, transphobes will hear this and say, yes, I agree with Jeffree. Yes, exactly. Let my daughter dress like a boy and play with trucks, and don't call her a boy, and I don't want to make her transition. Blah, blah, blah. Let her be her. Because they hear that and then they interpret it as being trans isn't real. My daughter is just a tomboy. Don't force this trans agenda on my kids. I like how I kind of switched into a southern accent there, sorry. But the irony here is that for the most part, the trans community and this gender diverse community are the people that are supporting your tomboy daughter wearing masculine clothes and playing with boy toys. Personally, I think fashion, toys, all those fun childhood things should be genderless. Boys should be allowed to play with dolls and wear princess dresses if they feel like doing that, if they feel like dressing up that day. Girls should be able to wear traditionally masculine clothing, look like a tomboy, play sports, play with trucks, whatever they want to do, and still be a girl, still be, you know, just them. Trans people and the gender diverse community are supporting kids doing that and not pushing them to question their gender identity while they do it. Historically, traditionally, in this country at least, conservatives have been the ones to police gender, to police what boys do and what girls do. They judge male celebrities for wearing dresses because boys shouldn't do that, but then complain that the left isn't allowing their young sons or young daughters to break these gender norms. They complain that we're the ones that are guilty of that. Like, pick a side, babe.
So I do my best to be like, hey, people do whatever they want, but they say like the brain's not developed.
So many layers.
There's so many layers,
and
yes.
All of you hate it.
No, it's just crazy.
It's mentally complicated because our culture has made it more complicated.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It seems...
Okay, So this is true and it's not. Don't get me wrong, I definitely understand that trans identities and, you know, gender diverse identities are definitely hard to understand and hard to grasp when you're not trans. I get that. In the USA, at least in modern years, like the last 75 to 100 years, sex has widely been understood to be the same as gender. You know, if you have a penis, you're a boy. If you have a vagina, you're a girl. And those are the only two potentials. However, that's not how it's been throughout all of history. Other cultures have identified and recognized different gender identities besides male and female, or besides a man and a woman. Some cultures recognize up to 8 distinct gender identities. So to say that there's just a boy and a girl and everything else was made up in the last 3 years is just not right. It's just not. While yes, that dichotomy of male and female is real, they're not the only two sexes, but for the most part, they are the two biological poles of sexes. They have no holding on the reality of a gender spectrum. Gender and sex are widely recognized by academic and scientific communities to refer to two separate things. And denying that scientific and academic consensus just makes you look stupid. Sorry. Okay, maybe some of the terminology that's being used to help people more precisely describe their identity is new, but the idea that there's more than just boys and girls is the norm outside of your little bubble. Also, it's really just not that complicated. Like, it just takes a little effort. When people say that they just can't understand being non-binary, they just can't understand being a they, them, what they're really saying is, I don't care. I do not care to put in the time to respect your identity, and so therefore, to me, it's not real.
Like, yeah, it definitely seems that way because the brain's not developed till 25.
I'm not into all the other I think.
What other
the they and them.
Yeah.
And all that extra that we added during the pandemic because everyone was so bored on their houses. They just started to make up more and
more stuff.
Yeah. That's where the conservatives like me because I'm just real.
Okay. Again, it's not new. It's not. It's really just not new at all, babe. Like, maybe you just heard about it during the pandemic or whatever, but it's not new. You're factually incorrect. Also, I can think of a few other reasons as to why conservatives might like you. That you guys have some, you know, I'm not gonna get into it, it's fine. But one of which is probably because you're out here pulling a Blair White. You're pulling a Candace Owens. You're being their token non-binary against non-binaries. Of course conservatives would love you because they can use you to say that they hate non-binary people and say that it's blah, blah, blah. When they want to say that we're all delusional, they can point at you because you look like us and say, well, this person agrees with me, so therefore I must be right. In the same way that Candace Owens is the black woman against black people. They use her to push their racist motives, their racist intentions, whatever, and say, oh, well, Candace Owens supports it, so it can't be racist. Duh. It is. You're just stupid. Like, yes, you may look a little bit gender diverse, a little bit gender fluid, but that doesn't mean that you can't be transphobic.
Yeah, you do have a conservative vibe to you.
Them. You're trans, you're male, or you're female.
And you're standing on that.
Get so mad when I say that. Mm-hmm. How are you a they? What the does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
But you need someone like me that looks like me to say it. Because if you say it, it turns into you're homophobic. You hate trans people. You hate gays. And it's just how you feel. You don't hate anyone. You just think it's stupid.
Yeah, I could sit here comfortably on camera and say, like, I truly just don't understand.
Jeffree's literally like that kid in your math class that can't figure the math problem out, has a whole hissy fit, throws his desk, calls his teacher a f***ing loser, and then says, I don't need this shit, and leaves because he's like, I can't figure out, this is stupid. Like, somebody get this man a tutor. Like a Xanax, something. Like, do you want to hit my dad pen? Maybe you're just gone. I can see you're a little confused, Jeffree. Do you need some help? Do you want me to help you?
Stop it. Get some help.
Listen, it's one thing to not understand. I will explain it to you over and over and over again, and I'm sure that a lot of non-binary people wouldn't mind explaining it to you either. But once you go on a podcast and say a community is stupid because you don't understand them, basically say that they're not real, it's a bunch of it becomes clear that you have no actual interest in learning about the community, but would prefer to simply bash the already ruthlessly attacked community for clout. Even the host of the interview, the person that, you know, is interviewing Jeffree, is like, yeah, I can see that I don't understand it. I really don't get it, but like, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say that it's stupid or that it's not real, blah, blah, blah. And Jeffree's just like, that's stupid. Maybe you just don't get it. Like, non-binary people are out here. They're living. They're here. They're real. And I guarantee you that they understand the difference between gender and sex. Like, really, Jeffree, if you just paid attention in science class, you would know that gender and sex are the same thing. Jeffree, I'll put a little link in my description if you want to educate yourself a little bit. What I really don't understand though is how he is cool with trans people. Like, he understands being trans, but he doesn't understand being non-binary. And to me, like, I understand that they're very different experiences, but they're not that different. Like, if you can understand that a trans woman doesn't feel comfortable living as a man, feels dysphoria when presenting as a man, and is happier living as a woman, then you can understand that an individual doesn't identify as a man, feels dysphoria when presenting as a man, is uncomfortable living as a man, etc., and feels the same exact way living as a woman. And so therefore, they need to be somewhere in the middle, somewhere where neither of of these things are affecting them. Listen, I'm not even non-binary. I don't even think I fully understand it 100%, but I'm not out here calling things stupid. I don't know, it's just really unfortunate to me because, I mean, honestly, who does Jeffree think has been supporting his ass this whole time? It's not the conservatives, babe. It's not. It's the little gender fucks that were listening to your music back when you were on MySpace. We're all trans now. Sorry to break it to you. But okay, you guys, I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you're non-binary, I'm so sorry that you have to listen to stupid like this talk about your identity every day. I can't imagine how exhausting it must be to just have your validity. I mean, it's happening to me too, but it's just crazy that our identities have become this tool for people to gain clout off of. Like, oh yeah, I know how I'm gonna get my numbers up. I'll just bash the transies. That'll do it. They get us good every time though, I must say. But all right, you guys, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm gonna go. So thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.